Alright, so for the past 10 months, we've seen a primarily sniper-dominated meta. You can pretty much get away with sniping on any class, but when it comes down to playing against super sweaty opponents, like playing with people who have super good IS Luna rolls that are IS Luna shotgunning or whatever, it can be a little bit difficult countering shotguns, not so much in trials, but a lot in other game modes such as Rumble. You might have some issues playing against really good shotgunners, you don't really know how to play against them, and maybe you're playing on like a gunslinger, or maybe you switched to a striker because you heard that was overpowered. But in the past, we had Sunsinger, which was pretty much hands down the best sniping class in general. I honestly believe Sunsingers weren't as fantastic for shotgunning because I think Firebolts kind of promote a passive style of play, and they're really good for defending against shotgunners. If you knew someone was coming around a corner, you just throw one, they'd run into it. Running around, floating over corners when you know someone is about to run through with a shotgun and double meleeing them from above was also an effective method, but it didn't seem as strong for shotgunning. And now that Sunsingers have been nerfed into the ground, I wanted to make a video talking about what I believe to be the next best class for sniping. It's what has worked best for me so far. I've been having a lot of fun with it, switching up classes. Obviously, Sunsinger got old after using it for a long amount of time, and I honestly never really liked Sunsinger that much. It always felt slow and clunky and stuff, and I only really ever played it when I had to in tournaments and all that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So if you couldn't tell already from the gameplay, maybe you weren't paying attention, the class that I'm referring to as my new favorite and in my opinion strongest class for sniping is the Voidwalker for a lot of reasons. The first one I wanted to talk about is the melee. The melee is absolutely amazing. You have a few different choices. You have lifesteal and surge. Personally, I use surge. Surge, essentially what it does is when you melee someone with your full melee charge, it essentially gives you second wind for I believe 12 seconds, and throughout that time you just feel super powerful, super unstoppable. And unlike second wind, it's not like you just have it off spawn. If you're meleeing someone, chances are you're in the mix with them, there's multiple people around you, and it just helps you pull off a lot of crazy stuff, especially if you're shotgunning. Of course, this is more of like a sniping video, but it helps you a ton. Last word obviously pulls out super quick out of surge, so something that I like to do is a little bit similar to what I would do with flame shield on my scorch melee, is when you float above a door when someone is running around just at ground level with a shotgun, if you can get one melee off, sometimes it'll even push them a little bit. And when you have surge on, you pull out your last word pretty much instantly, as you can see actually right in that clip right there. You pull it out super quick. It's really easy to just transition into last word and start shooting them. So that's one of my favorite methods. So if one person's pushing you, melee them and you can finish them with last word. And then maybe your sniper doesn't have quick draw or a snapshot, and it can help you pull off some really cool plays with that as well. Of course, another option is lifesteal. Lifesteal is kind of similar to flame shield, how it was in the beginning when it was unpatched, where if someone meleeed you first, you could actually end up winning the melee battle. It's not quite as consistent and not quite as good, but essentially if someone melees you first and you melee them again, you'll get some of your life back. But if the other person has melee attack speed, it seems like you don't really regen it quick enough, and you can still lose those melee battles anyways. So I have always preferred surge, and that's what I'm going to continue using. But of course, that kind of comes down to preference. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter that maybe don't know about Voidwalkers, don't play them that much, and it seems like they're a pretty underused class in trials. They're used a ton in sweaties and tournaments and stuff, but they're just really not touched that much, I don't think, in other sections of the game. So a lot of people are saying that people would just resort to scatter grenades and that's the only grenade they would use, but the Axion has been something that has been super powerful for a long time. If you know someone's like hiding around a box, hiding around a corner, you do not need to hit the person at all with the grenade. It's not like a firebolt where you have to line it up. If someone's around a corner, you can literally just throw it at the wall and it'll start chasing them. So if you know a shotgunner is like one shot around a box, maybe you shoot him like 2 or 3 times with last word and he's hiding behind a box and you're afraid to push him because he can literally just slide out of that corner and shotgun you. If you just throw an Axion before he has to run out, and then while you're floating at him, while you're still like 15 to 20 feet away, you can primary him with last word or whatever your primary you're using. It just helps a lot for that. So getting people out of cover when they're weak so you can push them is also really powerful. Nova Bomb obviously is kind of self-explanatory. It gets a lot of kills if you can line it up correctly. It is a little bit hard to use at times. I've seen a lot of people who don't play the subclass that much choke on a lot of Nova Bombs. I've choked on a lot of Nova Bombs. We've all done it. So it can be difficult, I guess, getting used to that. It's not really much of a 6v6 playlist sort of thing. It's really good just for winning one-on-ones and playing against 3 people at a time. Obviously, it's not going to help you sniping directly because snipers are snipers and they're pretty much untouched by subclasses except for blade dancers, who have quick draw. But just having a playstyle where you can melee people twice really fast, I would recommend you run melee attack speed on your gauntlets. It's probably the best option to go when you're playing against shotgunner players, because once you can get them kind of stunned and they don't really see the melee coming, it's really easy to just melee them a second time. It's super fast, it feels really nice. Just you kind of have to get used to the playstyle of floating around doors and using your melee a lot more often. Maybe you come from a hunter or something and might not feel that familiar. Like when I hop on my hunter for like a month or something and then go back to warlock, I sometimes overestimate the melee and like start meleeing when people are like 20 feet away, which can also be an issue. But just make sure you spend some time with it, make sure you get used to it. I promise you'll have a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I believe if you're interested for future tournaments that I may or may not play in, this would be the class that I'm playing when I'm sniping. So nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any more suggestions, I might make a whole entire new video for this new sniper I got. I finally got a longbow, but nonetheless, like I said, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.